Hello, and welcome to A Voice of Generation X with Andrea Lambert Fritz. Today, we have a juicy topic. A few, actually. There have been some interesting dialogue, discourse in the threadosphere, whatever they call it. I don't know. The place with the internet where people go to complain. Anyway, I would like to address, first of all, the concept, which may be objectionable to some of you, but that's not my problem, that all art matters, even art made with AI. And that AI is just another development in human history which allows us to create more things and more beautiful things, more beautiful films, more beautiful animations. I've lately been dropping little animations from, well, I'm not going to tell you how I made them. I'm going to take a page from David Lynch and not explain a single thing, but AI had a hand. But I had a hand too. You know, it's a collaboration in a lot of ways. It's a curation and a collaboration, which is artistic, if nothing else. I mean, I know I'm arguing against the brick wall for some of you, so I'll keep this part of it brief, but really, open your mind, open your heart, open your eyes. You'll see something beautiful. It doesn't matter where it came from. And now, I would like to switch to the other aspect of my podcast today, which is promoting Bleed Almond, my poetry book. This is a reissue of a poetry book that came out in 2020, an ebook, when I first discovered I could self-publish. And I made kind of a mess of the cover, so I had to make another one. And yes, I used AI to do it. And for those of you that have a problem with that, that's not my problem. So, anyway, these are poems which, as you can see, have been published all over for many, many years. I worked on this collection for 10 years, and then 5 years, and then it took me 10 years to get it published, when Rorschach Publishing was so kindly and graciously willing to publish it. So it means a lot to me on a personal level. And it's also, just to counter what some of you have said, which I didn't find too funny, it's literally impossible for these poems to have been written by an AI because AI didn't exist when they were written. In fact, the whole goddamn internet didn't exist when some of them were written. It was like Tumblr. You know, I was very active on Tumblr in 2010. But I'm going to read a really old one, and it's the first one. And it's one I wrote when I was a teenager. But still kind of reminds me of some guys I've met. Slap yourself. So, my nicotine darling, I slapped myself when I looked at you. Downtown, sauntering between concrete and catwalks. You were sauntering with hands wound in your shirt. Distant in dark lenses that filter out scents. Stringing along a slide of lines that fall back to telling nothing. I would, never telling you. Driving past wet pines, you counted out your childhood in small bites like pennies, then closed back into drones of power cords, not caught. You slip from couch to sidewalk, know the secrets of cigarette butts and bottles smashed on the balconies, know the scratches of a record and a road map, know how many food stamps are left in your pocket, and how easy it is to scam. You get along. And me? I look again, because I've known this before, known it well. And the curve of your neck and the ink on your thin wrist reminds me of friends gone. And I chase the small demons out, but you linger, there, feeding the awkward slump of my back, blinking away any real talk, blinking apathetic like a lizard disarmed. You remind me too much of crash cars, of cats sleeping in the sun, of case histories and scars. I am paranoid by trade, and silence makes me wince. I want to cut out your secrets, then shut them out. I want to pin you down like a moth-winged fly. I want to not look back. Now, does that sound like it was written in the 90s? It was! Yes. So, anyway, moving along here, I was going to go to one I find more compelling. Please. Here we go. This one's called Prison Tattoos. Manicured fingers meeting prison tattoos. Delicate fingers meeting prison tattoos. As they stroll down the hallway of the detox center, talking of going to Venice Beach, buying rings covered with skulls and bones, drinking beer and doing shots of Jack, and I watched them from the door of my room, and they were released on Thursday and never spoke again. Okay, we have time. Okay. Well, I could read more poetry, which I may do, but I think I'd rather talk about another issue that came up in the threadosphere today, which caught my interest and made me rather stridently object. It was fellow, obviously a white male would say this, saying that the price of being a content creator, of putting yourself out there, was abuse, misunderstandings, harassment, critiques, and basically anything and everything that gets thrown at you. And having had a lot of things thrown at me, verbally and, well, not otherwise so far, but I didn't leave my house too much for obvious reasons. I would say I do not accept this. I do not accept this to be true. I used to put content out in the world with zines when I was a teenager. I used to write my poetry and print it up and put it in zines with little collages behind them and distribute them. And no one ever wrote me hate mail, because the act of writing out your message about how you hate my poetry, then folding it up, putting it in an envelope, finding a stamp, addressing it. I mean, this was back when we used real addresses. That was foolish, but you know, things happen. And sending that, somehow that never happened to me. And I put out a lot of zines. I started out with my friends doing a hot lunch, and then I did one myself called Bedtime Stories for Trivial Teens that lasted for about 6 issues. And then there was, there were others, one-offs with friends. But anyway, the point I'm making is that I was putting content out in the world before this whole apparatus existed. And any critiques I got were from friends telling me, this is what I liked about your zine, this is what I didn't, or whatever. I mean, there was a situation with one dear friend of mine who was very upset about a poem I was printing, and for me, the writing came first. I've changed in time, and now I understand ethics better, but, I published that poem anyway, because it was a good poem. And that's kind of how I do things. So, welcome to my tea party, and thank you for listening, and farewell. Thank you for listening to A Voice of Generation X with Andrea Lambert Fritz. That is all.